All right. Cover to cover, reviewing The Chosen. And starting out, there's this huge disclaimer. Thoughts?
You're definitely going to want to read this. The Chosen is based on true stories of the Gospels of Jesus Christ. Some locations and timelines have been combined or condensed. Backstories and some characters or dialogue have been added.
A lot.
Yes. However, all biblical and historical context in any artistic imagination are designed to support the truth and intention of the scriptures. Viewers are encouraged to read the Gospels. I think we want to really focus in on that. Viewers are encouraged to read the Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
For the most part, a lot of the backstories and things of that nature aren't really discussed in the Gospels as far as what I've read.
I just want to say, so far I've watched one episode. I don't dislike the show. I really like the fact that there is a show that's put on national TV and global television that people are actually watching that are about the Gospels of Jesus Christ. So I think that's awesome. I just want to encourage people to do their research because some of the things covered, some of the subject matter, I think there was a lot of liberties taken where I didn't feel like there necessarily needed to be.
Well, and that goes back into cinema, right? Where your world building or character development or arcing storylines. So I do think they tried to fill in, took some liberties with trying to fill in some gaps.
I missed some of the disclaimer here. The original names, locations, and phrases have been transliterated into English for anything spoken. So this is the first scene here. Magdalene, 2 BC. He's sick.
Mary?
She's speaking to the phone.
How do we know who that is?
Magdalene. I mean, the Bible doesn't really discuss Mary prior to her coming in contact with Jesus.
No, I mean, obviously she was a child.
But I mean, again, if you're going to develop her as a character, it's got to start somewhere. Because you want to care about the characters, right? So you can't just write someone in who's killed 2 seconds later. That's a bad movie.
Yeah.
If you and that's
a John Wick flick. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Sit down. Sit down. Is your head hurting you again?
No.
I know. You are thinking of big new star. Hey, look, it's right there. You see?
Now, I did think this was interesting. He said the big new star, which tends me to believe that this is the time Jesus was born and the star in the north appeared.
Historians believe Jesus was born in the year 2 BC. I don't understand their timeline, but he was born.
He was born before he was born.
Isn't that weird?
It's kind of weird, but fun fact there. Although, there's BCE, although Christ's birth defines that split between time before the Common Era and then even after. So, even the science community recognizes that the world was different before Jesus got here, which I think is interesting.
Oh, yeah. They don't dispute the timeline.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
What do we do when we are scared?
We say the words.
Adonai's words. From the prophet.
Isaiah.
The prophet Isaiah, right? Thus says the Lord who created you, O Jacob, and he who formed you, O Israel. Fear not. Come now, I want to hear you sing. I want to hear your pretty voice. Now.
Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine.
You are mine. That's right.
I'll make that. That's all right.
Oh, yeah. There's the doll, so we're assuming this is the same girl.
So it's like a bad version of VH1. Where are they now?
28 years later.
It's like a...
Alanis Morissette. What happened?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That ain't good.
Tries to kill me! Tries to kill me! Somebody!
Sorry.
Somebody!
Alright.
Filthy dog!
How dare you bleed on me? Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
I just want to say, I really did not like their helmets.
Well,
I'm not a fan.
You can just tell it.
I don't like the flappy wings.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Oh, it's a fishes.
They got people pulling the carriage. That's an interesting take on things.
Forgive me, Rabbi. Can you not see what he's doing? But a woman ahead.
They have horses.
I guess they took them all.
Why have you stopped us?
It's not enough to say hello.
I'm on official business.
His
Only
helmets.
Roman business is official business. My name is Quintus. I'm the praetor of Capernaum.
And I
You're the
am.
great Nicodemus. Word travels fast.
Are you arresting me?
Do you know where the story of Nicodemus is?
John.
John. Chapter 3.
John 3:16 is Jesus quoting to Nicodemus.
Yes. So, it's pretty interesting if you want to read it.
My friend. I'm a magistrate, not a military man. I serve the will of the people and Pilate.
And I serve only God.
Yes. Yes. So do your enemies, the Sadducees, the Essenes, the Zealots, rogue preachers in the wilderness, raving about a coming Messiah.
Again, John.
What are you talking about there?
Again, John.
Yeah.
Nicodemus was a Pharisee, which was the teachers of the time. They were the keepers of the religious law over the people.
Yeah.
And they were a serious group. They were a political group. They were a religious group. They were basically right underneath Rome with ruling over the people. They answered to God and they obeyed Rome because, military. So what I think they're doing is using Nicodemus because he is a well-known Pharisee. Now the other books talk of Pharisees, and the Pharisees came to question Jesus, and we'll get into that later, but it doesn't attach a name to it. And I think Nicodemus is one of the named Pharisees in the Bible, and they're kind of making the connection that he was a representative of this group. I think that's why they're establishing the Pharisees here as a character group.
What do you want, Quintus?
I believe taxes are going unpaid. If you help me, I will help the Pharisees continue to thrive.
How can I? The people are already drowning in tax.
Nobody likes
Tell
taxes.
me, Nicodemus, what can be under the water and yet never drown?
Fish?
Oh, it's a fishes. Who's this guy?
We're going to find out. He's apparently very wealthy. Just from the garments hanging in the closet.
He's got 2 tunics.
42 pairs of sandals. One's Jordans and one's Shocks.
His sandal game is 100.
That's a modern take on wealth, right? The shoe rack. That's not sure that's how that was, but that's a very modern take on wealth. Very skittish.
Ooh. My thoughts exactly. Matthew?
Keep your voice down. Pardon me, Mr. Publicanus. It's me that don't want to be seen with you, remember? It's Publicanus. You're like it the other way, tax man.
So this is the Matthew.
Yes, the Matthew.
So Matthew was a tax collector.
as his job. That was his job. He was well educated.
He seems very OCD to me.
He seems very separated from society.
Well, yeah, it's no secret if you read the Gospels that tax collectors are
Hated.
they're
They're
like the bottom of the bottom. And I don't think it's so much because the people view them as bad people, but I think it's because the people view the government as corrupt.
right. It's kind of like if you work for the IRS today.
Right.
No one likes you.
Yeah.
Your friends don't even like you.
Yeah, you have no
the moment they
circle.
the moment they get audited, you're no longer their buddy. They don't like you anymore. And it's not because you're a bad person, it's your job. And your job can make you seem like a bad person. That's got to be a hard life to live, man. When you're living secluded away from, your job makes you a local outsider even to your friends and family.
Yeah.
Any citizen asked about my cargo, I must tell the truth. It's the biggest pile of dung in all Capernaum.
Honestly, I always look forward to my annual visit to Capernaum and your magnificent Sea of Galilee. It is truly the envy of the kingdom. Finally, one day I said, "You love it here so much. Why is it you never go to the sea when we visit your grandparents back home?" My son, he just shrugged and said, "But father, there's never anyone there. It's dead."
The Dead Sea.
And your sea boasts the most exquisite fish. How unfortunate that those who do the actual fishing are unholy, foul-mouthed, given to gambling in secret dens, and even fishing on Shabbat. Can we eat the catch and not be stained by the sins of the catcher? Make no mistake.
Listen.
It is a sin to eat fish caught on Shabbat. What goes into the body of a man defiles him.
Let's just stop right there. They're fishing in the Sea of Galilee, and I think it's an interesting point. He says it's what goes in the mouth of a man that defiles him.
Which is the opposite of what Jesus says. I think the point they're trying to drive home here is the respect of the Sabbath. People are not allowed to work on the Sabbath or cause other people to work on the Sabbath versus Jewish tradition.
Which is what they're calling Shabbat.
Right. We call it the Sabbath. And basically what he's saying is if you eat food that has been worked from the Sabbath, that is sinful because it shouldn't have been done. As we know, because, if you haven't read it, Jesus says it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but what comes out. They're trying to draw a stark contrast to tradition. Jesus was contrast to tradition.
Well, just to be fair, prior to this day and age when Jesus was born and living, they all lived off of the old law, Moses' law.
They were in their culture, they're responsible for making sure people are doing what they're supposed to do. They took their jobs very seriously because to them, they had been led out of Egypt, and it was passed down from them how serious this was. And so, you kind of get wrapped up in how serious and everything, every little thing is, to the point where it becomes oppressive. And that's kind of, outside of them, they don't see anyone else being worthy.
Except the priests, though. They don't violate.
Right. Outside of them, outside of the Pharisees, no one else is worthy, really. And that's kind of the self-righteousness that they had.
If you'd like to see that, we can discuss and go over what the religion was prior to Jesus' birth. It wasn't really religion changed, but it was the way our sins were forgiven was changed.
So far, I think the biggest thing cinematically is that they're using Nicodemus as basically the poster child for the Pharisees. Right? So it's because a lot of the Pharisees weren't named quite like Nicodemus was.
Right.
So I kind of understand that point. I don't necessarily think that Nicodemus agreed with all of the Pharisees why Jesus was here. And maybe we'll get to see some of that.
Yeah.
But right now it's just kind of building his character.
The Messiah will not come until this wickedness is purged from our midst.
Little
Your
did he
actions are
know.
being watched, studied. God has entrusted you to be exemplary in every way. Now, if your status is too great a burden, you do not deserve to bear the name of Israel.
That's pretty harsh.
I want to see my reflection in it plain as day. This teacher has traveled all the way from Judea. He is a member of the great Sanhedrin in Jerusalem, and I won't have him seated at the dull table.
He talks fast.
They value Nicodemus. Highly valued.
Teacher, you have moved us all.
Shmuel,
Will you do us the honor, Rabbi?
if that's where you keep the white sardines.
Obviously, they didn't prepare for it because the first thing he did was looked at his buddy and was like, "Where's the sardines?"
I told you sardines!
Where's the sardines? So, obviously, that's not prepared.
That's fine.
Hopefully, he's kidding. Hopefully, he's joking.
We certainly could get.
It was a joke. A fine Torah room is the heartbeat of a worthy synagogue, Shmuel.
Thank you, teacher of Israel. You do us a great honor.
The honor is mine. Why are Jews taking boats to sea on Shabbat? That question was meant for you, Rabbi Shmuel. The reports are becoming too frequent to ignore.
Of course, Rabbi. I will control it better. The Romans believe we do not work on Sabbath, thus they do not patrol. Greed has overcome the fishermen.
Or they are just trying to feed their families. Begging your pardon, Rabbi, the centurion is here.
Looks like we're not the only ones taxing the people.
What do you want, Commander?
I'm no commander, but at least you know your place.
This is Nicodemus, teacher of teachers. Show some respect.
Ah, just the man I went to see. I'm here about a Hebrew woman in the Red Quarter. Let's just say she's been causing a disturbance.
You have an entire Roman legion at your disposal.
Thank you for the reminder, Jew. But she needs a holy man.
We are men of God. It is not our custom to frequent the Red Quarter.
Perhaps I wasn't clear. Teacher of teachers. You'll accompany me to the Red Quarter, or we'll burn it down with our fire of fires.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Yeah.
That's a really good line.
Stop. Wait, this is the far side of the market. Get out. No. No. This is the job. You drive so I don't walk to the market. It's too crowded. Out. I'll pay you double. My name won't buy the stink of me and my family if I am seen with you. Out.
Wow. Highly separated from society.
Professional. Fire me.
Everywhere you look, it just seems dire.
Really?
I mean, like, you look around and it's like hand to mouth. Everybody's hand to mouth. Surviving. Or just trying to survive. It's kind of another oppressive thing going on. There's so much oppression going on. You're under Roman rule. You have to live by law of God, which the Pharisees are kind of to the letter bring you to death, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you're just struggling to survive through Roman occupation and religious beliefs and taxes, which were crippling, it seems, back then. So just, it's kind of like everywhere you look, like prosperity is just being crushed. It's just it's sad. It really is.
Is that guy just holding a random snake?
Like the smell, man. The smells in the air.
Upstairs. Rivka's place.
Don't worry, Rabbi. We took out the other lowlifes to protect your delicate sensibilities.
What is that?
I like how there's graffiti.
Yeah. This building was tagged.
Sulfur, nipples, is up. Wormwood. Go.
Yes, teacher.
Does he make it soup? What we doing?
He's just asking for wormwood.
Yeah. I know where this is going, but
Let's continue.
well, as far as I know, in the four Gospels, I don't recollect this happening. I don't recall this happening, and I
No.
could be wrong. But this is one of the liberties that you take in storytelling, where you're trying to connect dots.
Do your job.
Listen, I agreed to Quintus's request. Not a demand, because he should not demand anything of me. To stop Shabbat fishing, which was already our law, and by doing so was not a violation of my practice. And I will try to help this woman, even though it falls outside of my purview. But do not think of me as a tool to fix Roman problems. I will not continue to use my position of religious influence to benefit those who look down on my people, whether it's you or even someone like Quintus. So, I will perform this task, but I want to note it for your superiors. This is an exception.
Yeah.
So can we go now?
Yes.
So, given that the history of the Roman Empire and what I know about the Roman Empire, you probably didn't talk to a Roman officer that way if they were ruling over you. That would have gotten you thrown in prison or worse.
Bad days.
Yeah, that would have been like all the way a bad day. Like that's not how they conquered. That's not how they ruled.
So, now we got this guy laying on the ground. Here we go.
All right.
Stay down, Simon.
Oh, Simon.
Stop the dirt if you know what is good for you.
First rule about
Fight Club. They in Fight Club now. I didn't know Simon Peter was in Fight Club.
I love the haircuts.
Well,
He's got the beaver.
Oh.
He's got the whole beaver thing going on.
Too much, Joseph. You're too powerful. That's right. Like I tell you every time I see you.
I will win with my
Like I
fist
tell
to fist
my
technique.
is he working?
Seriously, I can only take maybe two. One.
He's working it.
One more punch. One more and I'm done. He's on his head!
How do they bet him on the fight?
Yo.
Oh! He hit him with the two-piece.
What was it you were saying?
Two-piece combo.
Something about your sister.
Uh-oh!
Just gonna feel that
You
tomorrow.
think if you keep hitting me hard enough, I won't be married to her anymore?
Kidney shot.
That's why they call me wine hands.
What?
What I do to your liver.
Wine hands.
He kidney shot him. That wasn't the liver.
He said that's why they call me wine hands. That's what I do to your liver.
No.
That was amazing.
Okay, so... Alright, so... Yeah, okay, wine hands. That's going to be the new nickname for Peter from now on, is wine hands. So referring to Simon Peter as wine hands. That's like, I don't even know what that means.
Alright.
What does it mean?
It
Oh,
means
my
alcohol.
Lord.
He's killing his liver.
Did they know that back then?
I don't know. He's a fighter and a scholar.
Yeah, okay.
Where is it written down, Andrew? Ah, answer me that.
Andrew?
I'm so foolish.
That's a face full of regret right there.
Who cares? We lost. Well, I know that.
No, it's
Pretty stoic.
my fault. I talked you into it.
Yeah. Wine hands?
He did.
Called him out.
He did it too.
He called him out.
Oh, that's great.
That's so funny.
That is so fantastic.
That's awesome.
Better in my head.
It sounded better in my head. Oh.
Where are you going?
Going to work.
Uh-oh.
Work. It's Shabbat in an hour.
What? The Pharisees make allowances for that if lives are at stake.
No one's life is at stake.
No, not this moment, but it's coming.
You're crazy. You know that?
Nah, just desperate.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
How long has she been like this?
Like what?
I'm trying to help her, Rivka.
All you're gonna do is mess this place up. Then what? You're gonna stop by and help clean?
Demons that torment her soul will turn your place to dust. Even if you care nothing for her soul, at least...
Lilith never hurt anyone that didn't hurt her first. Mostly. She has deep spells. We let her be and then she's as sweet as an angel again.
I adjure you, by the holy angels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, and Raziel, I adjure you, cursed dragon, diabolical legions, come out! I adjure you, spawn of Beelzebub, Abaddon and Sheol, by the utterance of all the watchers and the holy ones, in the name of Adonai, God of the heavens, cease to deceive this human creature. I command you, in covenant with Abraham, in the names of Jacob, Isaac, Moses, the all-powerful El Shaddai,
That's the only name that mattered.
fly from this innocent soul.
Bad hair day. Ooh, and makeup day.
We finished here.
The fact that she answered after he said the last name and tells him that he has no power there. That's deep. So they're using the term Lilith, and I have strong feelings about that because there's one Bible verse to my knowledge that uses the term Lilith, and it's not talking about a demon. And it can mean many things, and one is a demon, the other is an owl. And in the verse that it's referring to, it's talking, the one verse that Lilith is mentioned in the Bible, it is talking about nocturnal creatures. So in context, in my opinion, it's referring to an owl, not a demoness or a succubus or a spiritual manifestation of whatever. However, in that time period, it was a common feminine term used by many cultures in that era. So it just, to me, it's out of place here. We don't really know from the scripture what she was possessed with. I feel like they used the term Lilith because of the feminine side. Like Mary was a female, Lilith is a feminine name. And they made that connection. That's a little bit of a stretch for me, but in context of the show, it doesn't have a bearing. The scriptures never go into Mary's story very deep, as far as who she was around town before, aside from, Jesus delivering her from demons.
Right.
And it never refers to her as being known as Lilith. Like the lady in the screen called out Lilith. Like she's known as Lilith. The scriptures don't support that.
Right.
That I've
mean,
read.
It's
That's kind of one of those liberties kind of thing, though. It's one of the things you have to do in storytelling, I guess.
Yeah, it's a liberty that they've taken. The Bible does say Mary Magdalene was demon possessed. It does definitely say she had 7 demons in her. That's kind of the long and short of it. I mean, that was kind of the end and the beginning of it. And then she was delivered by Jesus. I'm not going to say it's not far-fetched for me to believe that if people's getting hurt, that the Romans would go to who they think would be an authority.
Right.
And they, just like they said, at the beginning, we need a holy man. So they recognized there was something spiritual going on there, and they knew they didn't have the answer. And I think they was hoping that he would. It's not far-fetched for me to believe that they may have done that. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. I would like to have seen. I just didn't like the Lilith thing. That's my only beef with it. But I still don't think it's far-fetched to think that they would attempt to help her.
Papa?
Uh-oh. So her dad died. Wow.
Thus said the Lord, who formed you, O Jacob, and he who created you, O Israel.
So that's the words her dad was saying, that she was repeating. Uh-oh. rough.
I'm
It's rough.
not saying this didn't happen, or even couldn't have happened. I just didn't like it.
I think it just lends more to the weight of actually how broken of a spirit she had. You know, like
Yeah.
how torn down this lady was.
Yeah, that's it's definitely, she definitely based on these experiences had a rough go.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I mean, there's not a whole lot on her story, so to develop her as a character, you're playing with your imagination a little bit of what, you know, probably happened or could have happened. And the could haves, the worst is she knows she's like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been there. Like the whole redeemed word triggered her, because she didn't view herself as redeemed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And brokenhearted that she's not. That's a bad feeling to feel like you're in a place that you can't fix yourself, get out of.
I mean, it's one thing to be messed up, and it's something else to know that you're messed up.
Mm-hmm.
For you to realize your self-awareness and to know that there's nothing that you're capable of doing to fix it. You can't fix you. And
Yeah.
that is the place that I feel like Christians come to. Like you come to a place where you realize I can't fix me.
You did everything you could for her. Now put it out
I
of
like
your
this.
mind.
I could never forget what I saw.
Tonight, you are an honored guest. Leaders will expect you to perform and to have your wits about you.
Why? Why must I perform? First I perform for Quinters,
You taught God's law.
soldiers, then for the slum dwellers. And this, what sort of performance is this? When did Shabbat become theater?
You are the teacher of Israel. You do not have questions, you have answers. You have authority. You bring clarity, not confusion.
That's right.
Tell me, what do you see in the mirror?
It's a cheap glass. I can barely make out anything at all.
Sometimes I wonder if what we can know of Adonai and the law is just as blurred. What if we're not seeing the whole picture? What if it's more beautiful and more strange than we can ever imagine?
There's kind of irony there.
Ridiculous thing I ever heard. It's mighty.
Well, it's, you know, he went to see her, failed miserably. He's beginning to question everything.
Oh yeah, he's like, what is life?
Yeah, I mean, literally, and thank goodness for his wife. I mean, she is strong. Kind of refreshing to see. You don't really see this in movies a whole lot when it comes to husband-wife relationships. But I promise you, if you married, you've had conversations like this where it's, hey, dude, you know, or hey, wife, and it's just as you're not trying to be mean, but you don't. It's going to be blunt what comes out, and you know it's something to gnaw on. You know, and I've had conversations like that with my wife, and you know it happens. She's counseled me a couple times like this, and it's never easy to hear, but you always appreciate it after the fact.
Yeah.
So a lot of growing comes from that.
It would be blasphemy.
It was just a thought.
And you will never utter those thoughts in public.
I failed.
Stop It was a mistake to be there in the first place. And from now on, stick to the academy. Leave exorcism to the exorcists.
You're right. I should never have been
You
there.
spoke the words. Demon did not respond.
Demons. Many.
That's the first time they've acknowledged that.
It was a
God
demon.
himself could have drawn them
No,
out.
demons. Plural.
Mm. Yeah.
Nico,
I'm coming.
Your last tribute was collected the first month of summer. Your account is therefore delinquent by 40 days. At a penalty rate of 10% weekly.
6 weeks.
That's right. You're lucky to not be in jail.
Hey. He's saying 60% of penalties.
What's that video with?
Son, I came with about 60% of what I owe. I can't even... We're ruined.
Oh, now it's we. It's a high number. I say this based on your tribute history and future prospects. How do you choose to square your account?
Discover?
Are there gems inside?
Just...
Is there a visa in there?
This will cover about half of your penalty balance.
Half the penalty.
Penalty.
My records indicate that you filed for an extension not once, not twice.
He just needed a couple of extra days, man. I'm ruined.
Extended rates compound at 15%. As
Ooh.
collateral, you've listed a missing vessel and property at...
All right, I'm sorry, but my brother didn't mention was the arrangement with Quintus.
You have business with Quintus?
Yeah, my brother's dead. In a year, gratis for both of us.
This will be verified with Quintus directly. If there's any inconsistency,
It won't be. Now, can I get my brother's gold back?
Basically, that's like, we're going to check this out, and if it don't add up, yeah, bad things are going to happen.
Dunzo.
Yeah, like, they don't, it was a money deal. They don't play with that. Like,
this will be verified with Quintus if you are misinformed.
I know, let's see.
mm-hmm.
What just happened? Don't speak, just walk.
Next.
We're back to Mary.
And the bird.
Is she back at the tavern?
They all look the same to me.
We need a different set, please. Please build a different set. It looks like she's back at the door where she said the password.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, did it work?
The bubbling brew.
I'm sorry, Lilith.
Give me that. Not of it.
That's not going to solve your problems. It's meant to distract from
No more preaching. Just give it to me.
Lilith. Please listen to what I'm saying.
Self-medicate.
Sit leave.
That's not real.
Your face.
It's funny.
Lily,
Instantly recognized.
Lily, are you okay?
No, you have to go. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Apparently, you can get drunks to go then.
So look.
Mary. Mary of Magdalene.
Why do you know my name?
Thus says the Lord who created you, and he who formed you.
That's a great tie-in.
Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine.
That's beautiful. I'm just gonna say it. The ending's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean that was fantastic. The way that whole scene developed, I liked it. The Jesus going out of his way for the one is a common theme that reoccurs throughout the Bible. He will chase you.
Like they had to take some creative liberties with some things, but the overarching storyline for me is great, and the payoff at the end of this episode is phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm 100%. I'm 100% with you on that. I wasn't sure really how I felt about the show for a while throughout the episode. But I can say, just like in life and in the Bible, and in the show as well, when Jesus shows up, things change.
The fact that they took like 3 or 4 different storylines and like wove them together to make a story is great storytelling. Like that is great storytelling how they were able to do that, and that's where I'm at with it. How you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for it. Like, really like the ending.
Yeah, and again, the disclaimer at the beginning's not wrong. Like, go read it. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's Jesus' story, so.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know what the entire other rest of the book is about, it's about that.
He's coming. He's here. He's coming back.
He's coming back. Yeah, that's the three sections. That's all really I've got to say on the first episode. I think we're doing another episode 2, next week, and we'll see you then. This is Cover to Cover.
I hope you like the video. Anything you'd like to suggest? If you like the video, if you didn't like the video, things we might try to do different or whatever, just put it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, And
we love you guys.
love you guys. We'll see you later.